Hello and welcome to this short time together as I share my thoughts with you on dying matters. Dying Week 2021 focuses on the importance of being in a good place to die. And I thought I would share my thoughts with you for the next 10 minutes maybe. On the conversations that I've had in the last hours of somebody dying, in the days before and maybe even months before, that I believe that these conversations are an important part of being in a good place to die. We can be in the right place to die physically, whether that's at home with our loved ones, that we may be in hospital or the hospice, and that's the physical place, and having our loving family around us as we journey from this earthly life to whatever we continue on to, which is a conversation for another day. So we have the physical, we have more than just the physical and the emotional and the spiritual, but it's the emotional and spiritual that I'd like to talk about, give you thoughts about today. Having not come from a medical background, and new to chaplaincy this past 16 months with the spiritual care team at the hospice has been not a steep learning curve, but one that's been a privilege to be with the individuals, fellow human beings who are coming to the last hours, days of their life here on this earth. And these emotions that we have, the conversations that would be able to release our emotions to let us come to what I believe is helping us to come to a peace within ourselves. Whether we have a belief or no belief, it's not about that. It's about being so that we're not struggling inside as we take our last breaths. The doctors and the nurses are able to take care of the physical pain and take care of the needs that we have to make us comfortable. But the conversations that I've had with people, with individuals, and at times I have been able to be with them and have been able to have a relationship with them, that trust to have a conversation about the things we might not want to speak about to others. Because I believe as we're coming to the end, we're trying to find a meaning of life. And that meaning of life for us as individuals, as a family, are difficult, especially when all the control that we once had, our independence, our making a living for the family. And is there a difference, a reflection on how each individual has in their mind when they're lying there and still have capacity, still being able to ponder on their life's journey, because it's that life story that makes us, enables us to find some sort of meaning to life. Reliving our childhood, that the childhood that we were poor, and that comes out, playing in the fields down in the river, their teenage years, and especially when they're starting to work and they're healthy and they have a profession behind them and they had a grown-up family. Retelling the life story gives us reassurance, hopefully, that our lives have meaning. And our lives have meaning for all various different reasons. And it may be because we have raised a beautiful family, that we've had a good professional life, working life, that the relationships that we've had were good. And it's these relationships that people come back to, that they look to see what they've achieved in life, what they may consider that they've had regrets in life of the direction they've taken, the direction and the decisions that we've made that have taken us down one path. And it may have been within these relationships that we've broken up, or we've broken that relationship, and that's really annoying us. The regret that's there, that we've caused someone some hurt in our lives, that we have time to reflect on that regret and maybe be able to reconcile what's happened, to let that person know that we got it wrong and that we're sorry, and that they may be able to forgive us. And it may be the other way about, that somebody's caused us a grief or a sorrow or a heartache, and that we let them know that they are forgiven. And that's the conversations that I'm having, that the person, the individual there, unique individual, a unique life, surrounded at the last time by their family, but able to have the conversation. And it's to have this conversation with their family, with their friends. But dying matters to both the dying and the living. But sometimes we hold back because of fear of the hurting our loved one. And that is probably the main reason we don't have these conversations. Or we just don't want to approach it. And then we may have regrets afterwards. But it's to enable the person that's dying to have that inner peace at the time comes. Within, and I should have said at the beginning, joining the spiritual care team that's at Helena Hospice, have the ethos. We reach out to members of our community, helping them make their own choices and live with dignity by focusing on their physical, emotional and spiritual needs. We aim to bring comfort and relief to all those who need it, offering the people here north Essex individual care and total support, regardless of their diagnosis or personal circumstances. We all share a common goal: to be there every step of the way for everyone who needs us, helping life to go on in the face of dying, death and bereavement. Dying Week, Dying Matters Week 2021, as I said, is focusing on being in a good place to die. And I was talking about the relationships, the conversations that we have. And these relationships may have started, as I say, a few months ago, or just in the days that they've come into the hospice or where they're being cared for. And that's at home as well. And it may be that they have something to say that they don't want to say to anybody else, to a total stranger, and that confidence and trust is there, that they will be at peace within themselves. And as I say, whatever that peace means to each individual, which is different. That we have significant relationships within our lives as we continue in our lives, and there is times that we have strangers come into our lives to help us. But it's not so much the strangers, but it's the ensuring that we are here to listen to and enable the patient, the individual, to be in a good place when they die. And I think it's really important that once everything else is done, that they're able to, that somebody is there to listen to them. But I think it's important that everybody that can, that is able, that is willing, whether that be families and friends, and there's professionals there that could help start the conversation, to be in a good place to die. Yes, there'll be sadness and tears, but there can be tears of sadness and joy of the life that has been lived and the legacy that's been left behind. The memories will continue to bring forward into a life that continues without that person physically being there. That we bring peace, try to bring peace, an inner peace to that person, and for the family and friend as well. But it's important that dying matters to both the dying and the living. What is a good death? London End of Life Care Clinical Network say a good death is the best death that can be achieved in the context of the individual's clinical diagnosis and symptoms, as well as the specific social, cultural and spiritual circumstances, taking into consideration patient and care wishes and professional expertise. Being in a good place to die matters. As families, as individuals, we may be afraid to start the conversation because we are afraid of the hurt that we might cause to our loved one. to ourselves. Conversations in a trusted relationship enables all to be in a good place physically, emotionally and spiritually when we die. And I just think there's nothing to be afraid of to have these conversations. Families are in an emotional state that tensions are high. But it's good to talk, and dying lives, dying matters. Thank you.